Hey there. So I just had a beautiful client in here, and it's so incredible with the stories that people share. I always say that my job is the most incredible thing by being able to meet people of all different walks of life and how open they are in sharing their stories and coming from the authentic place of where they're at. And no matter how bad it is, so many of them just have such a strong spirit and their heart open. And we were talking about that of cancer, and it's one of the stories I have with my boyfriend that passed away. But where a lot of times with coming into the full moon ceremony being heard, people want to gloss over things right away. If they share anything at all, it's just like when you meet that person and you say how you're doing and they're like, I'm great, and you can tell that there's something weighing on them. And one of the things of being the listener is taking note that they're not wanting to maybe share in this time, or that they're uncomfortable, and giving permission and following up with certain things to gauge where they're at, because I've had it plenty of times where that first time they don't really want to go into it, but having that opening and that I'm not shutting down just because they're in a protective space in that time, that I am safe enough to come back the next time. And it's happened more times than not where their stories will come out, if not then or later, and that they can feel that you're that landing place for them, that not only are you listening, but you can feel with them. It's like you're helping to hold that heart for them in that time, and that you can maybe even, whether it's just letting them know you're going to be okay. If you don't have anything to share, you don't have to have all the answers, but just to know that you care. So with this being heard, it came up with a story about myself, and how this is leading to that is because if you don't have that heart-to-heart engagement, it doesn't matter what you're listening to, you're not hearing to those deeper levels of what's going on. I shared story before, and I may send the full one, where I talk about this of my time, that deep depression, suicidal tendencies, and it was getting really bad, where I was on the cusp of taking my life and going to my Buddhist teacher, and after sharing my story and thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to call the authorities, I'm going to end up in some psych ward. But I kept my head down the whole time, going over what was going on in my life. And when I looked up, he smiled with tears in his eyes, and he said, it's okay, it's only a thought. And because he was present and I knew he heard me, and he was seeing past what I was saying, thinking I'm crazy, I need some exorcism or anything else that in my head that I was thinking I was going through. I had no clue, because it never made sense. To know that he heard me and he felt me, and to say that, it was the most healing, transformational thing compared to times in the past, including my mom that took me to the doctors when I was sleeping all the time. They said, oh, she's just depressed, you can get her on some medication, and thank goodness she didn't. But the difference in the same thing, where it's like, oh, it's just in their head, how many times people have heard that and it has absolutely devastated them because it came from someone that was not feeling, not hearing, to that of being dismissive, to that of being the truth and healing for me to come into another place of being part of my path, and including the work that I do, that is so important to try to be that support and that deep listener for others. The last thing on this is, there is a story, I want to say it was with Ram Dass's teacher. It was an experience he had, but another student that said another student came to this teacher in India and talking about all their suffering that they're going through, and the teacher looked at him and with a sweet smile said, I suffer too. And that knowing that we all are going through these things, but can we be open to hear another story, or even if we haven't gone through it, that we're not equating that, have I had more suffering or less, but holding the space for the other. So this next full moon ceremony in Pisces is that intuitive of tapping in to be that deep listener onto ourselves, that we get past the story, but what is the heart telling us? What is the healing? What is even the beauty and meaning of what we're going through? Because even with this talking about cancer, instead of thinking that I must have done something wrong, what if it's the greatest gift that we can smile at the other and say, I suffer too, and be that inspiration and hope that you too will get through this. So it's Saturday, September 6th at 7 o'clock. Doors open at 6:45. We have a beautiful practice. There's going to be some yoga nidra. We're going to be doing a little watercolor artwork thing. I'll go over a little bit. It was inspired by a message I got from my oracle cards that I love. But anyways, it's going to be special, and I hope you make it. Much love, many blessings. Sat Nam.